This is video 3, Supply, Demand, and Prices. Let's start with what we know. We know that demand is downward sloping because as prices drop, the quantity demanded gets higher. We call this the law of demand. We also know that supply is upward sloping because as prices go up, the quantity supplied goes up. We call this the law of supply. But what happens when the law of supply and demand collide? We actually call this collision a market, and it determines the price and the quantity of any individual good or service. To demonstrate this, let me introduce Hank. Hank represents all consumers within the market. And let's say that all Hank really wants is a hammer for some reason. Now Hank decides that he's willing to pay about $10 to acquire the hammers he desires. And if he can find them for $10, he's willing to buy 100 hammers. In other words, Hank believes his utility will be maximized if he only pays $10 to acquire the hammers. Now to show the other side, let me introduce Giles. Now Giles is a savvy businessman and thinks he can make some money through producing hammers. After crunching the numbers, Giles decides that he wants to produce 100 hammers to provide to the market if he can sell them for $30 a piece. In other words, Giles believes his profit will be maximized if he can sell his hammers at $30 a piece. Now let's go to the market to see this collision in action. Now Hank arrives at the market and introduces himself to Giles. He's overjoyed to find somebody that's selling the exact antiquated hammer that he is looking for. Now Hank jumps right in. He says, "Hey, I'll buy 100 hammers at a price of $10. Giles comes back and says, "Look, I'm just not going to make any profit off of that. I can only sell you 10 hammers total if I'm selling them at a price of $10. Now Hank needs more hammers than that for some reason. And he says, "Look, Giles, if you'll sell them to me for $15 a piece, I'll buy 75 hammers. Now remember, Giles wants to sell 100 hammers at a price of $30, so he's still not happy with this offer. So he says, "Look, you look like a nice guy. At $15, I can sell you 30 hammers max. That's the best I can do." Hank comes back and says, "I still need more hammers than that. How about $20 per hammer? I'll buy 50 hammers. Giles comes back and says, "Look, at $20, the absolute maximum amount of hammers I can sell you is 50. Hank's like, "That's literally what I just said." And Giles is like, "Oh, well, I guess we have a deal then." Giles and Hank shake hands, the exchange is made, and everybody walks away relatively happy. You see, in the collision that is the marketplace, where suppliers who seek profit and demanders who seek utility meet, a great negotiation occurs, and it's this negotiation that determines the prices and the quantities of goods and services in our economy. And where this compromise occurs, where the price and the quantity is agreed upon by both suppliers and demanders, we have equilibrium. Now let's take a look at this in graphical format. Here we have the price of pizza on the y to the sky axis and the quantity of pizza on the x-axis. We see our downward sloping demand curve and our upward sloping supply curve. So where the equilibrium occurs, or where the interests are equal, is where our demand and our supply curve intersect. In other words, the suppliers agree to supply 8 slices of pizza at $3 per slice, and the demanders agree to purchase 8 slices of pizza at $3 per slice. Therefore, the price of pizza in our economy is $3, and the quantity of pizza that is in our economy is 8. We can assume that this equilibrium represents the most utility demanders could hope for and the most profit suppliers could hope for, given the current pizza market conditions. So of course, if the conditions of the pizza market change, we can expect the prices and the quantity of pizza to change along with it. But we'll go over that next time. And that's all. Thank you for your attention. If you want to take a minute to go back through the video to make sure that you understand how the negotiations between demanders and suppliers sets prices and quantity, go ahead and do so. You will need this information for your pods tomorrow. Until next time, see you later.